to the channel. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And press that hype button. Guys. So, I want to do something a little different today. I've got my favorite cup. And let's talk about what's going on in America. I mean, everybody's mind is thinking about it. Everybody, what is going on with this government shutdown? It's affecting everybody. I don't care who you are. We are all being affected. And you would be just crazy to say that it does not affect you. So, guys, we're going to be going over, I'm going to react. There is a channel that I absolutely, positively love. It is called Adapt 2030. And I did a video last night with a piece of what he had to say. Now, we're going to watch and go over the whole video because it is that important. Because it doesn't matter. Like I said, it affects all of us. If you're on EBT, if you're not on SNAP, if you're on Section 8, or if you're not, it affects every single one of us. And guys, if you haven't felt it yet, I promise you're going to feel it soon. I know I have been feeling it a lot. I'm out of work. What I do for a living is working with Section 8 people. So I'm having a rough time myself. And that's one of the reasons why I've been able to come and share a lot of things with you guys. Because right now during the shutdown, hey, they shut me down too. Just a little joke. But guys, let's get into this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to go through. And we're going to watch Adapt 2030. And we're going to see what he has to say, guys. And also, I'm going to put his information into the description box. And guys, please go and take a look at his channel. Give him a like, give him a feedback, give him some comments, give him some love, because he's had his channel for a long time and he shares a lot of great things. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. So this right here, this is Adapt 2030. Okay, he's actually from Tennessee, just like me. So we're going to go ahead and watch his latest video. So let's get started.
The rumor mill in high gear. Will Walmart shut down because of the EBT shutdown on November 1st? They're worried about riots. I tried to reach out to Walmart myself. They put me in the wash and repeat spin. Let's take a look at the facts I've researched so far, and you make up your own decision what's going to happen. So the video I did last week talking about the possible EBT shutdown, I'll link that below. All these people are now on these incredible amounts of videos, thousands of them, too many to go through. Just go to X and just scroll through EBT shutdown. You'll be shocked. I mean, literally shocked at what people are planning to do and what they require everybody else to pay for their lives. It's just really, it was an eye.
Guys, don't worry about what he's saying here. We're going to go through some of those TikTok videos as well. But right now, we're just going to get some good information that he has.
Opening exercise into what never saw this level of our society before. Glad I got to see it, though. But here's the thing. I do have pages of notes from yesterday's call.
Wonderful time to be alive, my friends.
Calling Walmart, researching, and reaching out to people, wholesalers, and where this is going to move from Walmart once they shut down, if they do, and then how it gravitates toward then the distributors, the wholesalers, the trucks on the road, and how this then floats back into the regional wholesale and distribution centers. And whoa, I had talked about this last year with several others, and what would happen if it were to come to that point where we went to digital rationing cards, how people might take the food finding into their own hands here.
And guys, that's another piece to this puzzle. That's another piece is, will we get down to where we're going to have these digital IDs just to get food? It's a kind of a control thing. And I know what you guys are saying. Pink, take off your tinfoil hat. But hey, guys, some of the stuff that used to be tinfoil hat material is actually coming true.
So just a primer for this, 42 to 46 million people are going to be taken off the SNAP/EBT program. Now, I'm surprised they don't have a definitive number. Now, between 42 and 46 million, that's more than a 10% leeway on numbers. Are you telling me that inefficient in America that we can't even get the actual numbers of people on these programs? Like, that in itself throws up a huge set of flags. Like, what in the heck? You can't even define who's on the programs? Like, that's crazy. Secondly, the Revolutionary War was fought by 3%. 3% of their participants were citizens at that time. 3. This is about 10% of the American public. So we're already at 3 times the Revolutionary War participants, and that changed government. But was that truly what we were told in history, or was this really just a way for central banking to move from England back into the United States again? We've had several presidents trying to stop that.
And guys, just keep in mind, do you remember when Trump was president before, there was a question that they asked one of his cabinet members, and they said, what do you think history will say about you and Trump? And what he said was, history is written by the winners. Whoever wins writes the history. And put this also into context with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She is trying, but not succeeding, to rewrite her history.
They've all had their difficulties when they did that as well. So the first thing here is the corporate side of it. And if we look at some of these statements here, the S&P 500 companies whose entire profit margin is basically dependent on tax money in the form of SNAP or EBT. Number 1, Walmart, Target, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Kellogg's, General Mills, Archer Daniels, ConAgra, and there's probably more on the list here that aren't. But when you take a look at this, I say, all right, a couple of things are going to happen here. If this continues on purpose, this shutdown, it is on purpose.
Did you guys hear that? On purpose. Do you really think this has just come down to, oh, we don't have any money? And he's going to get into a little bit more of what he's talking about when he says on purpose. I wonder if I can make this bigger. Oh, is that better? I think that's a little bit better, guys. All right, here we go.
Because I think it's an A/B test here to kind of see how the populace is going to respond when their food's taken away. Now, it's not going to be a total financial crash where 100% of people would be affected, except for, top 5-10% of people. This is the inverse, where only a segment, 10% of the population will be affected, versus a total financial collapse where 90% of the population would be affected. So if you were going to be a government and you're going to run tests on seeing how people behave when their food is taken away, what kind of behavioral changes would occur when they're not able to purchase, buy, or have access to foods in the normal traditional ways, how would they get food for their family? Gold has gone mainstream. You're seeing it everywhere.
Hold on, guys.
Prices keep climbing.
We're gonna skip over his commercial. We're gonna skip over his commercial, and we're gonna get back to the content. I think this is it here.
Dollars in precious metals transactions.
Hold on. Stay with me.
And we're going to hit 50 of us and come in and loot the store and you can't stop us all. Okay. But there was another subset of that, of like genuine mothers going, I just don't have a way to feed my kids. I'm going to feed them. And then mother and father would pop on and go, we're going to feed our kids. I don't care what it takes. We're going to feed them. Now, I get that. And that's a scary thing anyway, because regardless of situation of EBT or societal breakdown or financial crash or some sort of, EMP event that would knock out traditional systems of communication and payment systems, anybody will feed their family. Kids will, the kids are first. Mothers are always going to fight tooth and nail to feed their kids. Like,
Yes, guys. And, I just think you're a bad person if you think, oh, just forget about the children. If they eat, they eat. No, no. A society, how your society is how you treat the most vulnerable in your society. That's your children, that's your elderly, that's your disabled people. We should always take care of these people. And to me, this is shameful.
this is just something that has happened in history routinely again, and again. So, doing a little more of the deep dive in all these types of, I was looking through the EBT's like posts on X. I did not know SNAP allows you to buy live fruits and vegetable plants, fruit trees.
I did not realize either. And I think that is awesome. Guys, if EBT ever comes back and you're on EBT, please do this. I'm not saying steal. What I'm saying is use some of that EBT. Get you some tomato plants. You know that I have a garden out back. Get you some tomato plants. Get you some cucumbers. Even if you just put it into a vase and grow it, just a container. Grow some food. Grow some of your own food. I just wish all of you guys were near me so I could give you some stuff from my garden.
Trees, vines, including herbs in the garden center. Why aren't we teaching people how to grow food? If this is available, why are people not able to grow their food? Now, I understand you can container garden in your house on a windowsill. You could borrow somebody's lawn and put a whole bunch of stuff up. How about a community garden?
Yes, yes.
Like the training should come along with these purchases. And I'm just shocked that, every time I kept seeing the videos like, oh, what am I going to do? I can't. I'm going to have to go out and steal because I can't do it. I'm like, whoa, hey, you might want to start growing some of your own food.
But guys, if you think about it this way, the government does not want you to grow your own garden. They do not want this. They want us to be dependent on them. Because guess what, guys? Whoever controls the food controls the populace. Think about that.
Or working with others, or at least thinking about if this happens again, we are getting gardens up immediately. Before we go steal anything, we're going to put the gardens up. I know it's coming into winter, so please, when you go steal over, instead of just stealing food, make sure you steal 6mm poly so you can set up your wintertime greenhouses. Make sure you get a bunch of probably like 2x2, 8-foot pieces of wood, so then you can make a frame for it. Don't just steal food, because then you're back at square zero again. Because if you can use your EBT again, go ahead and buy plants and put them in the constructed boxes of the materials previously stolen that could create food for you moving forward.
And you know what, guys? Another thing that I do is I use, whenever I have seeds, take seeds from whatever you have. I've used corn, the little corn kernels from corn and grew corn from that. I have grown pumpkin from pumpkin seeds, watermelon from watermelon seed. So you can you can do that.
Not that I condone stealing, but every single time when tremendous conditions happen, people's moral compass goes, a little bit haywire, like the Bermuda Triangle. So onto my phone call with Walmart itself. So I started calling Walmart, and I went through the regular public lines to my local Walmarts. And then I went to.
Now, guys, here in just a minute, I know I played about 2 minutes of this from yesterday, but I want to go ahead and play it again because I want everybody to hear. I just think that he's got some good stuff to say.
to the business, specific business to business. And then I even made my way up to corporate in Walmart. I spent about 3 hours on the phone because I was sitting here doing research. So while I was put on hold, I was just doing research for all this. So it wasn't like wasted time. I ended up getting sent over to Egypt and then tossed around in Egypt for a while they went for the corporate center. Oh, we got to get this. And I'm just like, hey, all I want to do is talk to somebody, specifically revolving around press statements or reports for the media. Do you have a media department? That's all I wanted to do. So somebody came on and I was like, all right, we understand you want a media request. And then they're like, we're going to get you the right department. Can you hold for a minute? And I was like, of course. They came back and they're like, if you want to talk to anybody about a press release or media response or anything, you have to get your attorney to call our attorney. And here's the case number. And then at that point, then we will allow you to talk to somebody in the media department. But they wanted me to have a lawyer on my side first. And I'm like, that's not the way the press works. I'm trying to get a statement here. So going through corporate Walmart, check this out. Walmart announces 2025 Black Friday deal events wrapped in the magic of Who Knewville. Who Knewville. They are mocking us. They're pretending up to the very last minute like they are not going to close these stores down.
Guys, I know I showed this yesterday, but I'm going to play it again. This is very important. I want everybody to hear this. This was planned. This is planned.
At least from the research I've done. Now, will it be every single store? It'll be some select locations. Some, not all. Based on zip code and the amount of what they call slippage or theft that is occurring on a regular basis out of these same stores. So the high risk stores, they will close down first. But again, that puts them in the racist category because they're going to close down the stores that are generally shoplifted heavily during just normal times. And also, as we and I had another person helping me, we're talking, another list had popped up of people circulating around that are working in these areas that can't go on public record. Target, Walmart, Publix, CVS, Walgreens, Kroger. If this were to occur, following Walmart's lead, will go straight to curbside pickup, prepaid only. You'll have to pay for everything. And you know, the light bulb went on, boom. Because in my local Walmart, I'm living.
Hey guys, what about the elderly that don't know how to use a computer? What about people that don't use the internet like that? Now, guys, before my dad passed away, I bought him a laptop, and he never even opened it. He didn't want anything to do with the internet. He was not on social media. He did not do anything like that. So if he was alive right now, what would he do? We would have to come and help him. I mean, we would, I'm his child. Of course I would. But what about the people that may not have anybody to help them and don't know anything about all of this, ordering your food and then having it delivered? Come on.
Way out in East Tennessee. During the height of COVID, they only had 19 pickup spots, because back then you had to order. Predominantly, a lot of people did. And there was 19 pickup spots where you could pull in and get your delivery. They put in 50 new ones about 9 months ago. And I was thinking to myself, why'd you put in 50 new pickup spots? That's crazy. Like, a lot of people aren't ordering. And then, I talked to somebody there, said, why are you putting all the, well, the trend is a lot of people are shopping online. I'm like, well, okay, but you still have the 19 from before. You didn't turn those into regular parkings, but I still got this 19. And you just put in 50 more. So you got 69 pickup spots in this little remote, smallest, tiniest Walmart out here. It is the smallest one anywhere around here. Still 69 pickup spots. So I'm thinking.
And you know what, guys? Before the whole deal in 2020, whenever we had all that closure and everything like that, I never even shopped on Amazon until the whole 2020 thing. I never did. I never online shopped until it got down to us having to do it. We were having to do it. We had to. Because remember, we had to have, I remember whenever I went to work, because I was still working, I had to have a letter from my company in my purse in case I got stopped to show that I was an essential worker. Is that not just insane?
the light bulb went on. Like they had already pre-planned this long ago. And this is where it comes into the gray line between fact and reality and something on the conspiratorial side. When I heard that and I see this who knewville and they wait until the very last minute to close it down. Who knew? Who knew? That's exactly what the who knewville thing was. And with all these pickup spots, they're going to force you to go in too. And here's another thing that kind of was strange too. Talking with Craig Simpson over at Radiant Creators. Shout out. Thanks for the info you gave me. In a couple previous interviews that we did, he was over in Somalia. And he was saying that once they set up their zone and perimeter around for food distribution, nobody messed around.
Now, guys, listen to this part. This part is very, very interesting. And I think he's really given some good advice. So listen to what he has to say about this.
Down there, they knew they would just get shot instantly. So it was totally safe in these zones that they set up for food distribution. But he told me once the people who acquired food left that zone, they had no way to protect them. And the road bandits outside those zones just pounced on everybody who had any sort of food. So you look at...
Guys, do you think that won't happen here? If things get bad enough, do you not think that people may be lying in wait for you to go get your groceries and attack you, to take your groceries, to take what you have? Please check on your neighbors, especially if you have any elderly. Women with small kids, please, this is not the time to take your children to Walmart, Kroger, Publix, or anywhere to go shopping. This could be dangerous coming this weekend. This could, and I'm not trying to scare anybody. I just don't want anything bad to happen to any of you guys.
This and you go, would this happen in America? Is the question. So to put it in a quick context as well on a test, like if you're going to run an experiment, a societal experiment, for example. So the EBT shuts down, people get all crazy and they can't get their food. They're going to go in and mob and steal and whatnot. In the beginning, if the stores stay open, there's going to be a lot of law-abiding citizens who are like, that is not going to fly in our town. You drove here from wherever and came into our towns and are robbing these stores like this. That's not standing. You don't mess around like that. And in a lot of places, there's going to be violence in many places. So will the law-abiding citizens that are willing to stand up now be removed from society along with the thugs? Because you got to think about it. If there's a greater plan, like I say, the line between reality and, future conspiratorial outcomes is blurred at the moment. So if you were the government, would you try to remove those who would stand up against, I don't care what factor it is, event, something that would affect their life to the point where they're going to stand up? And would you remove at the same time the troublemakers out? So you could get two segments of society that would be, let's say, a thorn in your side moving forward with a greater plan. That's what I'm saying. I think we're being baited into this. Now you got to really, I left a couple messages to people. I'm like, I'm not on the back off kind of thing, but I'm like, they're in a corporate environment. Would you risk your life for a corporation? Like, hey, you can't steal that food. Well, they're insured for that to a point. Would you just let it go and not get involved? Because if you do and you try to stop and somebody gets hurt or they get something, and you're the one that's going to get arrested along with the others as well. You're just going to get all swooped up in a giant seine net. They're out there drift net fishing in the ocean of society for those who will stand up, and the thugs both. So be careful if you see this, because again, it's not your product, not your store. I know the laws are being broken when it comes out in the parking lot and you're coming toward the cars and somebody's car. That's a completely different thing. But inside the stores, hey man, that's their own deal in there. But personal safety outside the store or returning back to your home, that's a completely different set of circumstances there, where I would err on the defend yourself quickly and figure it out later type of thing. Because if it does, and I'm saying if it does go down, the amount of chaos will be so tremendous that there will be no police out there to help. And I don't care how many military you bring in, it's going to take weeks, plural, to get it all kind of settled.
Guys, just like when Hurricane Katrina happened down in parts of Mississippi and Louisiana, they were in martial law. So there was so much looting, so much crimes going on. And what he's talking about, do you want to get involved with the mob and say, hey, you can't steal this from the store? Because what if they end up trying to hurt you while you're trying to do that? And then the police will come up, you'll get arrested too, because guess what? You tried to protect yourself in the store and you were trying to protect the store. So maybe we should stay away from the stores. Yes, protect yourself, but sometimes the government tries to take, I'm trying to figure out how to say it, law-abiding people, because they know that you're a stand-up person and you'll stand up for your rights, you'll stand up for the Constitution, but they want you out of the way so they can go in and do martial law and do whatever they want to do. So I think that's what he's trying to say.
Hold up. So there's going to be that time period of between then and now, between the instability and finally stability coming back. It'll be a several week period in there. You do not want to get caught up in this in the store, defending the store kind of don't take the cart kind of thing, because that's corporate side. They got to take care of their own stuff. Me, I'm taking care of my people outside the store. If we're going to be around somewhere and people are trying to box the car in, come in, steal, that's completely different. Keep that in mind with this also. These mass arrests that are going to occur during that, don't fall for it. They're trying to round you up without rounding you up, because if they're talking about roundups, you're going to fight back. But this is a perfect way to do it. Get the law-abiding citizens who will have no more of it. You cross the line into that point. Because I don't care how many people stand up and go, you cross the line. The tidal waves are just going to keep coming in. Because if you're talking about 45 million people, do you think there's 45 million law-abiding citizens out there going to be like, you're going to stop now. You're going to stop now. Like on a 1-for-1, I doubt it. I doubt it. Are you going to get yourself caught up in that mess on purpose? Again, it's a societal experiment going on here. And I digress. Let's go over into Walmart anyway.
And guys, we talked about this. Remember whenever we talked about how Gypsy Rose, we feel like it's kind of like a societal kind of experiment. Hey, they're doing this stuff here, but they're telling you, look over here. And that happens. Now, watch this. There is someone on TikTok that goes to especially Walmart and checks out how they are pricing and how they are actually robbing you by putting that it weighs more, it tells you it weighs this and charges you this, when actually it weighs a lot less and should not be that expensive.
I'd seen the same guy do a couple videos. Yellow Dirt Road, he always goes into Walmart and he weighs the packs versus what's on the label. That's kind of his thing. Thank you for doing that. But then he's found another one just as of today or yesterday. The actual weight on the meat was 4.53 pounds, but on the label it says 5.04 pounds. But you can see clearly there's no other packing that should increase.
I know you don't think it's a lot, but hey, think about that. Charging you for an extra half a pound per how many people have they done this to? That can come out to millions that they're doing that to, and they're just stealing your money.
Increase the weight. So Walmart caught cheating yet again. So be careful, double weigh everything. Something else that's coming in, this is the whole thing that this is leading to, is going to be digital ID systems to prove who you are. So this will never happen again. And also is Walmart intends to expand digital price tags. Now with Walmart, with their great reach into credit card systems, banking, their fingers are everywhere anyway. They already know what your social credit is, what your bank account is, what your credit score is, because their entire financial system revolves around that. And with the facial recognition technology, the minute you walk in the door, if they go to digital price tags, the price will change for you depending on your socioeconomic status, just like it does when you go book airlines off Skyscanner, depending on your IP. If you're booking through Airbnb, they call it dynamic pricing, which means they know where your IP is, so they can kind of figure it out. Just if it's in America, okay, that's pretty general, that's macro. But when you jump in and they go, oh, you're from New York City, do you think the price is going to be the same for somebody who lives out here in rural East Tennessee? I don't think so. But this happens all the time. It should be illegal the way it's done. But now the whole movement of digital pricing and on-demand pricing, as you walk by each item, there will be cameras all down the aisles. And when you go and you turn and you want to pick something up because of your profile, and like I say, you're earning potential.
I always thought that these cameras were for people that was stealing, but they're not. They're not. They're watching us, but not just to see if we steal or not. Listen to this. I've never even heard of this before until he brought it up.
Or known income, that price will change because you'll spend an extra 50 cents on it. This should be absolutely illegal. I've seen a lot more cameras popping up in Walmart as of late. We went in there. I needed to get a fishing net, and I was on the fly. I needed to go get a fishing net, right? Catch fish, bring it up after you hook them, and I needed one of those, but we didn't have time. It was a Sunday. There was a whole bunch of stuff was closed. I'm like, we'll just go get a fish net out of Walmart. And I walked down, and there were like cameras in all, because you got to walk by the aisle where you do all the all the makeups and cosmetics and all that stuff. There were cameras in every one of those aisles, and it wasn't for anti-theft because they already had those ball cameras everywhere across the store. This was absolutely the beginning phases of digital price tagging, even way out here in East Tennessee in this little tiny Walmart. I was shocked, but it is here, and get ready for that. And then also one last food for thought here. I don't know if you agree or disagree. Please put your comments below. Some of these comments coming off of X make a little sense or not, depending on which way you look at it. If you need me to pay for your food, you can't afford to drive a car. So your driver's license is void while you receive EBT. If you need me to pay for your food, you can't afford car insurance either. Another reason for your license to be void.
I do not agree with this at all. At all. Just because you can't afford food, you shouldn't be able to drive? What? That is just insane to me. Insane.
Valid points with that. Should EBT then be allowed to be used 6-8 times a month on Uber? Because if you can't have a car, you're going to have to, it's America. There's no public transport here. I mean, even in big cities, it's ridiculous at best. So should you be able to get out and then go buy your groceries and come back? They have to have somebody has to have a way to get out to a store, because walking there is not going to do it, especially if it's cold in the winter and things. That's a very good point. And a lot of other points, people are going, hey, look at their nails, the hair, all this stuff. Like, where do you get all the money? You can't afford anything, but you got all like the prettiest stuff on. You're just like glammed out incredibly. So what do you think about that? Should people with EBT not be allowed to, should they lose their licenses? And also because they can't afford the insurance. I mean, car insurance today is ridiculous. Anyway, you're looking at a couple of grand extra. Where's that money coming from to pay for that? And then you got gas, obviously. Well, so what is this whole thing? How are people able, I always get that insurance bill for my car and I'm like, good, grit my teeth, How about homeowners insurance? Where's that money coming from? I grit my teeth twice because my homeowner's insurance has doubled, even though I've had 0 claims, because everybody else is claiming and they're saying that the prices are higher for materials. So in case someday in the future I have a claim, that I need to pay double now to pay off my thing, maybe in the future, maybe not. So, I made a valid point there. Like, where's all this money coming to pay? Like for this last month of the year, I get just incredible amounts of bills coming in for the following year for, like I say, homeowners insurance, auto insurance, liability insurance for our land, this sort of thing. Just, my Christmas, just my little stocking stuffers go down to lumps of coal from the amount that I need to pay just to even stay alive in this country. to have insurance. It's ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous. Like beyond ridiculous, babiculous. It's unfathomable how these prices are even acceptable. Truly, it is. So I thought I'd leave you with that. That's the latest updates I have. And again, the whole Walmart thing running me around.
So guys, let me remove him. Let me put my face back on here. Hey, so I don't agree. Tell me if you agree down in the comments what you think about the whole car thing. I don't agree because I believe that everybody we got to go places. No, that in my opinion doesn't have anything to do with that, in my opinion. Now, I just think that it's gotten so ridiculous to even try to live. Where is all this money even going to? Do we even know? Who's making all this money? Who's receiving all this money? And why should we have to pay so much for what we actually need to stay alive? And we're supposed to be in the land, the land of milk and honey is what they say. And look at what it takes to just stay alive. Guys, tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me, do we have a solution? Are you like me? Do you think that they've set us up? They've set us up to fail. Tell me what you think. I want to hear it. I just think that it's sad that our country is in the state it's in, and it really makes me sad. Guys, you know I love you so very much, and we're going to try to do a live at 3 o'clock today. I love you guys. Please, please, please come and join me. I love you guys, and I will see you soon.